This is Miss Walsh, your friendly saxophone teacher. I hope I'm friendly. I want to talk today about the very first thing that we all need to know, how to put the saxophone together. Sometimes I go through this with my students, and then some of these steps maybe get thrown aside, or we forget some things or whatever. And some might seem really basic, but sometimes it takes a while to get even the basic things down. So I'm going to start with the most basic thing, and that is this right here, the neck strap. Um, I talk about this in my lessons because I see so many of my students around elementary or middle school age just wrestling with this thing, and they just can't, they'll grab onto it the wrong way and they're like, it's not going, and they're just pulling, and it's like, you just have to grab it the right way. So I know this is silly, but I think it's important to go over this. I just want to save you that hassle of wrestling with it. I'll do another video about equipment because I'm very picky about neck straps. This one, I actually don't even like this one all that much, but some basic things to know. It should be really poofy on this top part. It should be very well cushioned. Some of them just have a strap and that digs into your neck. Especially if you hopefully are playing for many, many years, you don't want to put constant pressure in a small space. So very poofy up here. Very simple in the middle part of it. When you have a whole lot of strings and there's crazy knots, and we don't want it very complicated because you've got to figure it out. And then mine is actually broken. It just broke, which maybe is a good sign. I'm practicing a lot, but we just want a hook. This hook right here, it used to have another part that broke off, but just a plain hook and then something here to stop it from pulling out, and you want it to be very secure. So what's going on with these straps? Okay, so I want you to watch really carefully. You've got this top part that goes around. You want to make sure the straps here are not twisted up at all. So you see they kind of form a straight line. Now if I flip my top part over like this, I'm going to get these twists, and that's going to irritate you when you have these twists. So you want to flip it until it's very straight, so there's no twisty things. The twisty things dig into you, especially when you're playing a lot. Then take a look down here. You've got a buckle. Okay, and I'm going to hold it to the side like this. So coming from the top part, you've got these two straps coming in. These two straps, I want you to spend some time pushing these two straps up and then seeing where they go. Okay, so they go up, and then on mine, they go down and under. Okay, they go down and under, then they wrap back around, and then they attach to the buckle. So if you're pulling on everything down here, nothing's going to happen. It's not going to do anything. If you spend time and you push the straps up into the buckle and then pull down, now you can create some space. So you push a little bit more and then go under and pull the under part down. Now this is actually changing here. Another way you can move this, especially if it's nice and straight, is only move it by the buckle. So you hold the buckle, let me angle it. You hold the buckle and you slide it down. If you hold everything down here, you're holding it in place. If you just hold it by the buckle and the part that's attached, the part that's not attached to the buckle, you pull. You see how I'm pulling? Okay, hold just the buckle and pull. So now I'm going to put it on. I like to have it all the way down. Then I put it over my head, and maybe you have a big head, so you might want to have it all the way down. So if you want to move it, an easy way to move it is pulling the buckle alone while holding maybe just the hook. Like, try not to even touch the straps. See, I'm pulling the buckle. To move it up, you might pull the part that moves under here. So see which one moves and which doesn't. You can hold the buckle and pull one thing, doesn't move. Pull the other thing, it moves. So before you put the saxophone on, get it up really high, okay, like a tie, because when the weight of the saxophone is on, it puts all that weight on the buckle, it creates friction, and then again, it's hard to move. It's like, ugh, like trying to get it to move down. So put it up really high, and then when the saxophone is on, then you adjust down, and you can go a little more slowly. Please put the neck strap on first. Put it on first. When you are putting the saxophone down, unhook it and then put it down. So please don't leave the neck strap attached. Take the neck strap off, because you're trying to take the neck strap off with a saxophone in your hands and you're like, what? You know, I just don't want you wrestling with this thing. Like, the easier the better. And we want that saxophone secure. So we want the neck strap on first, so there's something here we can hang the saxophone on. So you're not having to deal, with only one hand trying to put the neck strap on and stuff. Do this first. I promise it'll be so much easier if you just do what I say. Okay, next step. I put, so this is just for me and anyone who's practicing a lot, like an hour or more, I put a protection of wax over my teeth. I'll make a video about products and supplies and things, and I'll talk about what this is. And there's other alternatives where you can get things like this. Anyway, I always have it on my teeth before I even do anything with the reed. Now we're going to get the equipment out. So we take our reed out of the reed case. You're going to, I'll do this reed. I like picking the reed I want. So this is a reed I've already used. There's other things to do with new reeds, but I've already used this reed. So I'm going to soak it. I'm just going to put it in my mouth for a second. In my experience, the bigger reeds for baritone saxophone, tenor saxophone, you could just put in a cup of water. I think they can handle more water. The smaller reeds, you don't want the water getting really into them. I think it does more damage on the smaller reeds. I've just kind of noticed that over the years. So you soak it, not very long, like 20 seconds. 20 seconds or so. They're soaking the reed. While I'm soaking the reed, I've got my mouthpiece. My mouthpiece has a mouthpiece cap on it. I do that to protect it, but even so, sometimes the outside part, any lettering that's on it gets kind of rubbed off and stuff. So if it says the brand of the mouthpiece, don't be surprised if that kind of goes away over time. That's okay. It's not ruined or anything. I don't think mouthpieces get that much worse over time, but they do change. So I just put that on to protect it. And if you're playing in band a long time, it's good to have a mouthpiece cover. It keeps your reed hydrated, I guess. All right, so here's a really important part. I'm going to show you how to put this on. Pay careful attention to this part. This this gold thing here is a ligature. We're going to take that off. I'm going to keep it in my hand though, and keep it in my hand like this. And I'm going to hold the mouthpiece so the flat part is what I can see. My reed is wet. Go one more little wet. I look at the reed in the light and I see the reflection to make sure that it's a smooth, moistened reed. There's no little puddles of spit and there's no dry spots. It's like I always think of the road when it just started raining, just kind of covered, but it's not, pooling just yet. So then I'm going to flatten this reed against the mouthpiece on the flat part. Hopefully you can see that. I'm flattening it against the flat part of the mouthpiece, the tip of the reed. Yeah, there we go. The tip of the reed is on the flat part of the mouthpiece. I'm holding it with my thumb to flatten that tip out. And we have to do that every single time. As reeds dry out, they warp or they get this like little waves. If there's even a little bit of a wave, it's not perfectly straight. It's almost unplayable, at least for me. So if you're not sounding good, maybe it's because your reed dried out and it kind of dried out in like a squiggly position. So we flatten it. Then this part is also tricky. Then you take the reed, place it against the mouthpiece. Look where all my fingers are. Not one finger is on the tip. Avoid that tip like it's radioactive. Okay, so my right hand is holding it. My left hand is around the mouthpiece. I line it up perfectly with the flat part of the mouthpiece. And now I'm going to adjust it. My right thumb is on the reed. My left hand is around the reed. Nothing's on the tip. And I'm going to shift my thumb up, and the fingers that are around it are kind of moving it side to side to get it even. I'm just going to flip it around so you can kind of see. It's not focusing really, but if you can kind of see, there's it focused. There's a thin sliver on the top. We can play with that. It could be more or less, but we're going to start with that thin sliver. And then the reed is following the shape of the mouthpiece as perfectly as possible. Okay, so we align it that way. Please don't touch the tip. I mean, for a while, you're going to have chips. So again, my right thumb is holding the reed in place. I don't want it to move at all. So I have to be careful with this part. We take the ligature. The bigger part of the ligature goes over first, and then there's a smaller part of the ligature on top. So bigger is on the bottom, smaller is on the top. For my ligature, that means that the screws are facing to my right when I look at it. I'm putting this over, and my thumb is still holding the reed here, but now I need to switch to a different thumb. So I take my left thumb and go to the top. I'm going to switch. So now I remove my right thumb and use that to squeeze this ligature down. And I did it a little bit off, so squeeze it down. And where we want the ligature to go, so you see how the mouthpiece is going up, 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 up? Once it gets here and it starts flattening out, you want your ligature below that by a little bit, okay? It's got to be below that. It can't be hanging off. So like here is too far up. And then if it's way down, it would be kind of off the reed. So right here, where I have it on my mouthpiece, is pretty much where I always have it. Then we're going to tighten these screws. All you need to do is give it a squeeze so that your reed isn't moving around, but also so you can take it off again and you don't have to call an adult over and say, I can't do it. Don't do it that tightly. And if an adult does it, try to undo it before they leave. And if you can't get the reed off because they, use their super adult muscles, tell them to loosen it a little bit. You just squeeze so it's in place. Okay. Now, sometimes I have my students do this next part. I have them play on the mouthpiece. If you're just starting, you might not get anything out. Don't be surprised if literally nothing comes out. If it's just that happens all the time. Don't worry about that. That's okay. Just try it. Sometimes it works better with the whole saxophone all together. But I just want to show you how you're going to put everything in your mouth around this mouthpiece. All right, so the first thing is your lower lip goes over your teeth. It sort of protects the reed from the teeth. And a way to do that is take your finger and put it on your lower lip and roll it until you can feel the teeth actually going through the lip and going into the center of the tip of your finger, like right here. So you'll hear, and now you're in place. You don't want your chin to be touching the reed, I mean, sometimes you end up like kind of going too far, and your chin skin kind of touches the reed, and it's irritating. It doesn't feel good, and you definitely can't have your lower teeth on the reed either. So roll, okay, and that's where your reed goes. Okay, over like that. All right. Then your upper teeth are what land on the top part of the mouthpiece. I'll talk about this later too, but I recommend a mouthpiece cushion. There's a brand that I like. I think it's got a B and a G in the title. I don't remember the full name, but I like the black mouthpiece cushions that are the thickest ones possible because I bite through them. So I guess I bite really hard. Your upper teeth are going there. Now we want to place our upper teeth carefully. A pretty easy way to do it is you take 2 fingers, put them right to the tip of the mouthpiece, and then remove the lower finger. I almost did that wrong. Remove the lower finger. You see where the finger that's here remains? That's where your teeth go. So I'm going to do it a different direction. So put my fingers here, remove one. Sorry for a rude finger. Let's cover that up. So then we've got this much space. I put my teeth there. My upper lip just kind of hangs naturally. Okay? Teeth, upper lip, then lip over. Now we're ready. Okay? Now, what I think makes sense in the beginning is keep a loose position and then squeeze with the jaw, squeeze on the reed until a sound comes out. So it might be nothing but air for a while. Like this. And what we want is that high sound. So like at first that might be all you get, but keep squeezing and then try to squeeze your teeth right here towards the tip of the reed. Also, you see some like little lines here. Okay, so think about like a sour lemon. A sour lemon. See how the same kind of lines form? Everything in the face that has to do with making sound, we call the embouchure. The embouchure. It's a French word. Bouche means mouth. So it has to do with the mouth. But you can include a lot of stuff in the embouchure. It's like everything here that has to do with making sound on the saxophone. We want muscles right here. Okay, so you squeeze in as if we just had a lemon. If you speak other languages, a good embouchure is like if you're speaking French and you say tu, tu. See how it's squeezed here? Tu. Or German has something similar, the U with an umlaut. You know, like that. It's like you're trying to go ooh, but then somebody makes you smile and you're still trying to go ooh, ooh, ooh. See? Ooh. Your cheeks kind of go up in a happy motion. Okay, one more time. Okay. If it didn't happen for you, that's okay. Try every day. Try for a week. Next, we're going to put it on top of the neck. This is the neck. This is the cork right here. Before you do this, let's get either your cork grease or your Vaseline. I'm going to do that too, might as well. So I get a little Vaseline and I Vaseline my cork. Once you get going, it's best to do this at the end of the practice so that it soaks in. That's how I like to do it. Okay, then we want to hold this mouthpiece really carefully. So I'm having my thumb on the reed. My fingers are completely wrapping around it and squeezing. So that way you're at low risk of having the ligature pop off. All right, so then we grip it firmly. We put it around the cork. And while we're twisting, both hands, we push. Okay, so I don't know if that was visible. Let's try again. So it's like twist and push. It's a little bit too easy because I put enough Vaseline on my cork. Where it goes on the cork depends on how long your cork is. It might not be the place where mine is. It might be, you might have a lot more cork showing. Maybe you have a super long cork. You know, they can put any length on there. Maybe it's like here, and maybe it's also, you know, all the way up, even further than that. Maybe it's a short cork. You don't know. Let's try making our sounds again. So lip goes over, teeth on top, and then let's try to make a sound. On the neck, you only can make one note, where the mouthpiece can have a little more range, but this is always going to be like that. Always that. Okay, next, the saxophone. We put the saxophone together. When you're holding the saxophone, I highly recommend that you hold it by the bell and then maybe by this thumb key with your hand kind of under, like nice and supported. If I'm taking it out of the case, I grab it by the bell with my hand and I support under. Okay, I grab it like this, then I switch, and then I grab it here. Two hands is best. I mean, it's like a baby, you know, you have to hold it from multiple angles. Okay, I'm pulling out this little top stopper thing. I don't think, if you don't have one, I don't think it's the end of the world. It keeps this bar here straight, just kind of keeps all the mechanisms here in position. So it's good to have. Okay, this next part, if you have some trouble with this, if you have an old saxophone, you might have some gunk in here. If it's green, that's gunk. It's really called verdigris. If it's orange, that's gunk. If it's reddish, that's gunk. So there's oxidation, there's verdigris. It's something that happens naturally. It does not hurt the saxophone. You can still play. All you have to do is get a paper towel, put a little water on it, and then wipe it. That's it. Also, those gunks go away really nicely with lemon juice. People used to polish brass instruments with lemon juice. There's other polishers too, but I find that worked pretty well. It was really simple too. You just get a lemon, squirt some in a bowl, put a little on a paper towel, and just kind of wipe it, you know. But it doesn't do all that much. So if you've got gunk, wipe the gunk. And same thing with this part of the neck. That gunk can get on there too. So use a paper towel and wipe it. You want to have a neck that is the same brand as the body of the saxophone. It doesn't always have the same brand. Like if you have a Selmer saxophone and then a Yamaha neck, it might not fit. So try to make sure it's the same brand, okay? All right, so then this is similar to how you put the mouthpiece on. So you hover it in the little slot, kind of jiggle it back and forth while you're pushing it down. And that should happen pretty easily. Under the neck, there's usually a little, like a little bar kind of thing, or like a decoration. That should lead you to this lever here that's for the octave key. So it kind of points to where you're going to put it. Everything should be basically straight. And this might be obvious, but not to everybody. The neck points away from the bell, okay? It's not obvious to everyone. So the neck points away from the bell. And then you're going to tighten the neck. There are two screws here. Everyone has a different one of these. You might only have one screw, then it's easy for you. If you have two, one of them might be going into like an empty slot. And for me, it's this one. So there's this like square thing right here. And if you look down, there's a slot there. You can see it. There's a slot there. That is for marching band. If you have a tiny music stand thing, it's called a lyre, Lyre. It's a little thing you put in the saxophone and it holds your music up so you can read music while you're marching. So that's what that one is for. The other one tightens the neck. Again, you're just squeezing until it kind of has a little resistance. You want to be able to move the neck when you're in the middle of playing, but also have it stay in place when you don't want it to move. If it's flopping around, something needs to change. But you have to be able to kind of push it in different directions. All right, we have our neck strap on already because I made you do that first. So we hook that in, but even so, pretend like the neck strap is not on whenever you can. Like, hold the saxophone anytime you can. Don't rely on the neck strap because sometimes they fail. I've seen it happen. You're in the middle of playing and just whoomp, your saxophone falls to the ground. Ugh, that's a nightmare. Happened to me in a master class one time. Oh my gosh, everybody turned around and looked at me. So when I'm not actually playing, I put the saxophone like this on my lap and I'm holding it so that it's not flopping around. And that will also prevent the tip of the mouthpiece from like hitting you in the eye and stuff like that. All right. So a few things about position. So we're going to get our neck strap in place. Our left hand is on top. Our right hand is on the bottom. Our left thumb goes on the thumb pad thing. Our right thumb goes under this little thumb hook thing. Okay. I don't know if there's a fancy term for them, but they're, thumb pads or whatever. So when you're holding the saxophone in place, you don't want to hold the saxophone with your fingers. You're not actually supporting the saxophone with your hands. You see how it's still in place right now? What you're doing is you get the neck strap at the right place so that you're actually using the thumbs to push the saxophone away and it's still in place. See, I'm not holding it, I'm pushing. I'm pushing it away from me. And while pushing, you kind of move it back up and see if it's going to your mouth. Readjust your mouthpiece to be at the right angle so your head is relatively straight. You can readjust the neck to be at the right angle, and it should go right to your mouth. Right there. Okay? If you set your neck strap in the wrong place, now it's like, uh-oh. You can't play like this. Then you're trying to like lean over, or your face is up high or whatever. So I've just been doing this a long time, so I kind of know where the neck strap goes. So I'm pushing with my thumbs away. I put it in the right place, and now my saxophone is ready to actually play. So then let's look at where our fingers go. Hopefully it will get focused here. Okay, there we go. These don't look the same for everybody. So just think about how many keys there are and count them on your saxophone. Look at the left hand. There's a top key. Mine is brass, but yours might be this pearl color. It could be one or the other. But you skip it. You go to the first one. That's where your first finger goes. There's a baby key here. It's tiny. Skip it. Go to the second one. And then the third key, you're putting your third finger on there. That's your basic finger positions for the left hand. 1, 2, 3. So skip it, 1. Skip it, 2, 3. Your right hand is a lot easier because you only have 3 keys. And so this is fingers 4, 5, and 6. I don't think it should be 1, 2, 3 again because that doesn't make sense. So it's your pointer finger is 4, 5, 6. And that's where your basic fingers are going to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, twist it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's your basic positions. All right. In another lesson, I'll start talking about making sounds, making your first sounds, how to sound good in the beginning, some basics of music. So all of that is coming up. I hope you have success putting your saxophone together, and you can always reach out. I usually leave my email. If you have questions, I don't mind answering them. So if something went terribly wrong, reach out to me and I'll try to help you through it. Okay? All right. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.